What's poppin', y'all? Today, we taking a look at Tariq's origin story. If you enjoyed the video, like, sub, fuck my channel, though. Go sub to MovieBot, that motherfucker the GOAT! Let's boogie.
I killed my own father to protect my mother. I killed my best friend to protect my family. And you think I won't do whatever it takes to survive? I always do what I gotta do. It always comes down to me, my family, and the gun.
In order to improve your game, you must study the endgame before everything else, which is a quote from Jose Capablanca, and chess is going to be one of the cornerstones of this video, where we run through the evolution of Tariq St. Patrick and how he's going to be someone dangerous based on his past experiences and mentors.
Yo, shout out MovieBot. Listening to MovieBot talk is like listening to goddamn Shakespeare.
Especially because someone who had a big influence on Tariq's life was Kanan Stark, who was introduced to us playing chess in prison, alone before he killed his son Sean, and also versus Tariq, where in essence, he taught Tariq to allow being manipulated to see where your enemies wanted you to go, which allowed you to be 3 moves ahead, allowing you to lay a trap and win.
You know the easiest way to sneak up on your enemies is to make them think that they already won. Sneak attack.
Yo, Kanan, was probably, we always give Ghost and Tariq the credit for being geniuses, but, Kanan learned from Rock, obviously. I don't know. Kanan might just be the smartest character in the Power universe. What do you guys think?
And Kanan played the game like chess. For example, he was several steps ahead of the competition in terms of revenge, especially against Ghost, and in my opinion, he played and won the long game. He took Tariq away from Ghost and molded him into the son he always wanted, which was the opposite of the straight son that James St. Patrick desired. And he even convinced Tariq it needs to be him who pulled the trigger, because he would never see it coming from his own son. Just like why Rock wanted Kanan to shoot Howard. But having said that, nobody's perfect, and just like in chess, in life, it's normal to make mistakes, and so if you lose, no matter how well you've played, at some point you've made a mistake that's been punished, and that's something we're going to come back round to when we talk about one of Tariq's enemies, Kane Harder. But let's run it back to Power first. In Season 1, Tariq was living a perfect life away from the streets, high up in his penthouse suite, where we saw this bond build with Sean Stark, who is Kanan's son, who he pretty much looked up to like an older brother. Sean was also a character who was honest with Tariq, something which was rare during the early seasons of Power, because Ghost and Tasha lied to Tariq about their past, which was...
Yeah, man, just a quick shout out to Sean. Fuck, he did not go out pretty.
There's many elements which hurt Tariq, but they did so to protect him and give him all the opportunities they never had. So where Tasha told Tariq Kanan went on a trip, Sean told him he went to prison when Sean was around his age, and so with him being tight with Sean, his death was of course gonna hurt. Tariq was young and didn't exactly understand the game, and why...
Alright, so I guess technically speaking then Sean would be his loss number 1, so let's keep total. So right now we have 1. 1 loss for Reek.
Sean died, something he later learned when Duke forced Kanan to tell him the truth behind Sean's death, and how he was using and manipulated Tariq as Slim, only to get back at Ghost. But arguably one of the pivotal moments was Ghost's affair with Angela, which didn't stop Tariq from going to see Ghost, at first anyway, and so we saw them share a moment.
Thing is, I like another girl.
Trust me, son, last thing you want to be is caught between 2 women.
Oh my god, that is some of the best advice I ever heard. Imagine being caught between 4 women. You guys don't want to hear that story.
Ironically, this is also an issue we're now seeing Tariq face in Power Book 2 Ghost, with Lauren when she was alive, with Effie and Diana, but it was the lies from his parents which was one of the reasons why Tariq felt betrayed, albeit they lied to keep him safe, and away from the neighborhood they grew up in, but Tariq didn't see it that way.
Just on some other undertone shit really quick, I feel like this is kind of realistic as regards to I don't know, I feel like a lot of young kids who really don't have to be in this life, they choose this shit. This was a kind of low-key good undertone depiction of what's going on in the younger African American community, I feel like. Because I don't know, bro, I did some shit I'm not proud of, but it was never to fit in or be cool, or because I was oh, breaking into houses makes me a black man, it was more the fact that like I was just really broke. I wasn't living nowhere. Like my mom threw me out. So, but Tariq choosing this despite all the advantages he had in life is like a perfect symbolic representation, in my opinion, for what's going on in the younger African American community. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Sorry for blabbing so long. I'm also getting over a cold, so
This was a foreshadow of who Tariq was about to become. He was about to turn from a pup to a wolf real quick, and someone who helped him turn into this wolf was Kanan, or should I say Slim. Kanan introduced himself to Tariq as Slim, showing him the neighborhood where he grew up with Ghost, but he did so with the sole purpose to kill Tariq St. Patrick to get back at Ghost. And no doubt, Kanan was capable of pulling the trigger, but when
and when you really think about it, like I mean, because Kanan set out when he got out of jail to have Ghost killed. It took him like 4 seasons basically, but I mean he avenged. He got his plan was successful. I mean Ghost died, and what better way than at the hands of Tariq? I mean, fuck, what a way to go! Wow.
When he learned how Tariq hated his father as much as he did, Kanan found another way to get back at Ghost, and it was using Tariq St. Patrick as a pawn. Now in power, Tariq had a few options besides the game, especially because he came from a wealthy family. He was relatively bright for his age, and he also had everything in his favor, but he still chose the game.
Teach me the motherfucking game, Ghost.
On the other hand, Kanan wasn't wealthy, but he knew his family was in the game, and he thought he inherited the great Defcon Stark's name. But had he known the truth which Rock kept from him for all those years, maybe he would have chosen to not throw his Stuyvesant entrance exam. But as time went on, despite their differences, Kanan saw a lot of his young self in Tariq, and this is why he grew on Kanan.
You like the son I never had or some shit?
What about Sean?
He was like, damn, nigga, we was having a good time. Why you gotta spoil the mood? Y'all wanna see what I'm burning right now? Look at this. I got some gas. It's some Jiffy cake. Look at this shit. It's just fucking beautiful, man. Fucking pretty. I'm trying to find I guess I mean, because they're all like small nugs in the bag, but I mean, like you can kind of see it's some gasoline.
But Jukebox had another plan, and that was to kill both him and Ghost, and we saw him being held at hostage by one of the most coldest characters in Power history, as well as later in the series being beaten by Vincent and the Italians, and so he had his fair share of life-threatening situations. Someone who also had an influence who many may forget is Andre Coleman.
My dad killed their boss named Breeze. I feel like my dad wanted Kanan in jail because he wanted to leave Queens. That's why Kanan hates him now. That's why he wanted me.
Tariq and Dre built a bit of a relationship.
I totally forgot. Tariq. The way how Kane was, mentored by Mecca. Like Tariq received a lot of tutelage from some insane people. I mean, Ghost, Tasha. That's already like fucking Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, goddamn Tommy. Like I said, Dre. Like I mean, he's like had I wouldn't say influence. Actually, yeah, Rashad Tate. I feel like he's kind of been influential in Tariq's life. I mean, fuck. Kane. I mean, yo, he's definitely been around some insane people.
During that time Dre was working for Ghost, and Dre was someone who also realized Tariq was a smart-ass kid. But through Dre, Tariq met Kanan, and through Kanan, he met Ray, Brains, and Big Country, guys who were trouble. And so this trouble followed Tariq, which resulted in him watching Ray kill his twin sister.
I just also gotta say, like, bro, who the fuck brings like a 12-year-old on a fucking like a lake? Like, what the fuck? I mean, but you know what? I'm fucking up. You know what I mean? What was that? Was it Queens, Brooklyn? Like, what the fuck was that shit again?
This was the second death Tariq saw, and no doubt felt somewhat responsible because he was mixed in with some bad people, which is also why he felt as if he should be the one to put things right. And this is one of the many reasons why he gave Dre the heads up that the hitters were coming for him. It was a favor for a favor. So with Tasha's gun and the details from Dre, we saw Tariq avenge his sister. But actions have consequences, and just like in the game of chess, when you take one piece off the board, it naturally leads to a sacrifice of another, and that came with Kanan Stark.
He was my friend Sean's father.
Oh,
I thought I was safe with
yo, I swear this scene. Like the whole entire show, we're looking at 50. Like, you crazy ass nigga. Like 50 actually opened up and gets close to somebody and then gets betrayed. He's like, nigga, no, wait, what? Like, do you know who I am? Like, bro, this shit hurt to watch, bro. I mean, but like, this just probably made Tariq that much more twisted.
Are you being held against your will?
Tariq had a choice to make. It was either his mother Tasha or sacrifice his best friend Kanan, and he did what he had to do, knowing full well Kanan made it clear he wasn't going to go back inside, and so death was going to be the only outcome.
You know, I was the only person that really cared for King. I just took a loss so you guys could win.
Were you there?
And it was true. The only person who cared about Kanan was Tariq, which is why he built more of a bond with Kanan than he did Ghost, and why we continuously see Kanan in Tariq's hallucination rather than Ghost. And we did see Kanan appear in Tariq's hallucination, who convinced Tariq it needs to be him who pulls the trigger on his.
Do you guys think that eventually we will see Ghost's rendition, I guess, or in Tariq's imagination, whatever the fuck you want to call it?
His father, because he'd never see it coming from his own son, a parallel to the ending of Raising Kanan Season 1. But Tariq felt as if he had to kill Ghost, because just like Breeze was in the way of Ghost's future, Ghost was now in the way of Tariq's. So where we talk about Kanan being the ultimate chess player, this is why I feel Kanan ultimately won in some aspect. He set out to get Ghost back for taking what was his. And so for him, if he wasn't going to pull the trigger on Ghost, there was no better way to end Ghost's life than at the hands of Tariq St. Patrick. But power really is a vicious cycle, and Ghost did warn Tariq that he's trying to save him from a life of misery which only ends up in death or jail, with Tommy warning him the same.
Did you fucking feel that? This is the game. Every fucking moment of your life, if you ain't pushing, you're falling.
Although Tasha did eventually accept Tariq for who he was, and even telling him he can be better than Ghost ever was. But with Tasha being arrested for Ghost's murder, and the events that transpired in both Ghost Season 1 and 2, Tariq's perception of the game has now completely changed. Powerbook 2 Ghost Season 1 started with a broken St. Patrick family. Ghost was dead and Tasha was in jail, but Ghost was still controlling Tariq from beyond his grave, because he wouldn't inherit a single penny, including the clubs, unless he graduated from college with an average 3.5 GPA. Along with Ghost still having some level of control, and before the letter, we also saw Ghost Pass come back and haunt Tariq in more ways than one. There was 2-Bit, Rashad Tate, but one of the most influential was Simon Stern.
When do you think we're going to see 2-Bit make his return? Because I thought he was supposed to come get that money in Season 1. We just never heard from him again. Well, actually, when Tariq and Braden were having that argument after Tariq got out of jail in Season 2, we actually did hear his name mentioned, but I'm just saying, we haven't seen him, and we didn't even see him in Force. I think we'll see him in Book 2 of Force. Maybe. Because I think Blanca's going to reveal Tommy's alive. Maybe that's, I don't know, I'm getting off subject. But you guys, let me know in the comment section, when is that nigga 2-Bit gonna make his return?
What are we here to talk about?
Just like your father. Always eager to get right down to business.
I'm nothing like my father.
Fine, fine.
But Tariq went through major character development from hating and denying he was anything like his father to understanding why he did some of the things he did. And it's because Tariq was now having to do things he didn't want to. For example, being asked to kill Tamika and Epiphany, as well as putting those around him who he loved in danger. So as Tariq began to understand his father's decisions more and more, Tariq's remorse for killing Ghost grew over the season, which is why he now wants to one day inherit his father's name. But throughout the first season of Ghost, Tariq was misunderstood by those around him, who not only didn't understand or know what he's been through in the past, he was also able to work under Monet with this level of freedom. And being underestimated is one of the biggest advantages you can have, which is why we...
Yeah, he was underestimated, but I mean, we all know that they know what he's capable of now. But do you guys think Tariq can trust Monet still? Because I know Monet's, because she can definitely trust Tariq, but do you think that goes both ways? I don't know. Because I sort of, on one hand, I think when Monet smoked Metha, I almost said Metha, when Monet smoked Mecca, I kind of like she did that like to keep Tariq under her nail still because she knew he would need the money. But and again, I mean, I don't think Mecca was really gonna give him the money. I think Mecca was gonna kill that motherfucker either way. But still, I don't know. I think Monet in the whole Tejada family is the only one that he can trust. Drew and Diana are fucking rascals. Kane is a piece of shit. Lorenzo, bro, Lorenzo had a hard on from that nigga Tariq ever since he found out with him and Diana. Actually, he never liked Tariq from the get go, did he? Anyway.
Why we saw Tariq take advantage of those around him who believed he was innocent, something which he did lose in season 2, which we'll get to later on. But these bright sparks which we saw early in Power was also something we continue to see from Tariq in Ghost. The world and technology is forever changing, and so you have to adapt and learn. Just like in the game of chess, you have to think of new ways to beat your opponent, and that's what Tariq did with Course Correct. He was not only able to hide behind an app, but he knew Brayden had a way of being able to maneuver around Stansfield.
Again, and that's probably the only other person I think that Tariq can actually trust is Brayden. I know Brayden like unintentionally got Tariq. Well, he didn't actually get Tariq arrested, but he did give Kane the opportunity to plant the badge unintentionally. However, so Brayden never had bad intentions, and plus, out of everybody who fucked Tariq over, at least Brayden did come try to clean. He did actually clean everything up in court. He took accountability for owning, course correct and everything. So yeah, he can definitely trust Brayden to an extent, though. I think there is going to be an issue with the whole Lauren thing. Brayden don't actually know what happened to Lauren, but now I feel like when he finds out Lauren's dead, he's probably going to approach Tariq about it. I don't know. I just feel like Brayden and then um Brayden and Monet at this point are probably the only two people Tariq can trust. Y'all let me know in the comment section if I'm reaching.
Without drawing too much attention, because being a Western came with certain advantages, but he did warn Brayden about who they were working with and all the positions they all played.
Lorenzo's the king. Monet's the queen. Kane is the rook. Joe's the knight. Diane is the bishop.
Now, the situation Tariq found himself in season 1 was highly complicated in a lot of ways. He was dealing with his father's death, his mom Tasha was in jail, and he had to pay Davis McLean all while working for the Tejadas, as well as keeping his grades up. But his love life was one of the main ones, which involved Diana, Lauren, and Effie. And so where we talk about Tariq being dangerous, it works in two ways, where you can sneak up on your enemies being 3 moves ahead, but the dangerous can also work against you. For example, the case of Lauren and Carrie's death in season 2 and Jabari's in season 1, because those who get involved with anything to do with Tariq St. Patrick end up having to go. So just like he told Jabari before he pulled the trigger, he is the bad spot. Now, Tariq ended season 1 completely isolated, because where he was able to lean on Tasha, he no longer had.
They were both really good, but do you think season 1 or season 2 was better? I think season 2 was pretty good. Like, season 2 gave me anxiety watching it, so I actually am going to say season 2 was better. Let me know in the comment section what you think.
That, and he only had himself to blame. So in season 2, Tariq was forced to become a man. His responsibility began to change, and where he had to quickly adapt, because this was the first time he was without Tasha. He had to balance his drug dealing life, navigate his studies, fight a double homicide charge, but most importantly, he had the burden of looking after Yasmin, and all of this made it an impossible task to live a normal life. And it was all of these combined elements which made him take his eyes off Kane, and in that split moment, Kane's manipulation of Brayden almost cost him.
I mean, what the fuck you even do this shit for, B? People out here dying and going to jail because they literally have no other option. You playing this shit like a game, bro. Go tell your dad to get you a fucking job and quit before you get someone hurt.
In this game, trust is one of the major problems, but it's important you have a team or network around you can trust, because the only chance you stand at beating your enemies is by having allies. You also need control over your own mind, because then it's harder for anyone to manipulate you. Because the moment your brain betrays you, you are well and truly fucked. And that works in everyday life. You control your brain, and it allows you to control the outcome.
Seeing that nigga in that cell is giving me PTSD flashbacks of when I was in county jail. Jesus. Bless America, bro. Yo, bro, I'm telling you, hey, anybody out there, if any savages is watching this shit, bro, think before you act, nigga. Like, fuck, like, I know in the moment you'd be like, yeah, yo, I'm that nigga. I'm about to prove myself. And I'm telling you, bro, like, once you get to jail, bro, all them niggas who you think give a fuck about you don't, bro. Don't go to jail.
Outcomes, which is why Kane was one step ahead, because of his ability to control Brayden's mind, in that moment anyway. But ironically, Tariq was now giving the same advice Ghost was giving to Tariq, and he was slowly coming to the realization of the consequences. I previously mentioned Tariq could cleverly navigate the world he lived in through being perceived as innocent, but that was now dead, because those around him were beginning to realize Tariq was the monster. Now in the game of chess, sometimes you'll have your back against the wall, where all hope may seem lost, but Tariq's knowledge and ability to navigate through issues come from his past experiences.
I feel like, like in this scene we're looking at right here, where he outsmarted Monet, like, I feel like this among a few other times, like he really like almost, I don't want to say he like taps into, like, yeah, I guess he like taps into like this ghost power. Like, I don't know, like it's like, Ghost like just like overtakes his body for a few seconds, and Tariq just does some like fucking like, some James St. Patrick shit out of nowhere. What do y'all think about that? Because I mean, I'd like to see more of that in season 3. I'm hoping we do.
And he was showing he was more like his father.
You think you're in control, but you're on the island, you don't even know it. You can't do none of this shit without me. You need me, and I need my sister, so what are we doing?
When some may have thought Tariq was out of moves, he still found a way to fight another day, using the knowledge that he had over Monet's kids, and putting this back on Monet. He also did something very similar when it came to taking on Mecca, using knowledge to gain power. But someone who's
That's true. I mean, yo, Mecca was like fucking sweating like LeBron James in overtime. Like, yo, god damn, that nigga Tariq, yo, he is the closest representation to Ghost, but still, is he Ghost yet? Far from it, my nigga.
always maintained some level of control over Tariq St. Patrick is his father Ghost.
Keep thinking you're fucking smarter than me. Don't ever make that mistake again, son.
Ghost wasn't just 3 moves ahead and had a letter ready for Tariq if he was ever arrested for homicide.
Yo, I swear, when they first read that letter and whatnot, and I seen that shit, I was like, this nigga Ghost did not. This nigga Ghost gave this nigga, like, what? He said, I knew you'd end up here, little nigga. Bro gave this nigga 8 words, nigga. This nigga fighting a double homicide, and Ghost got 8 words for this nigga. I was thinking, like, when he was about to open up the package, and, like, it was gonna be, like, some, like, instructions on what to do. I don't know, bro, but this nigga Ghost, goddamn. Niggas out here saying he's 3 steps ahead. Yo, bro, nigga, this nigga like 3 million steps ahead, maybe. This nigga in the dirt, and this nigga still making plays.
He also had a plan in place to have Yasmin adopted in case anybody wiped out their entire family. And it was at this moment Tariq realized just how smart his father really was, and he had a long way to go if he ever wanted to be worthy of his father's name. But Tariq does have a lot more layers to his character than he thinks, and if we were to look at it this way, Rock raised and mentored Kanan, who in turn mentored Ghost and Tariq, and so naturally, Tariq has an inner Kanan as well as a Ghost, but he's also been mentored by Dre, Tommy, and Tasha.
Sometimes the people that you trust the most can turn on you with no warning.
In some ways, he's even been mentored by Monet, I believe. So, I mean, Tariq, as far as knowledge, I mean, like, he definitely has a nice little catalog he could access. Gosh.
So as we come to a few questions for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3, something which is going to be a vital issue is trust. There's been a
movie bot. Yo, you the GOAT, nigga. Stop playing around. Something that's gonna be a vital issue is when the fuck is this shit coming out?
a lot of broken promises and trust issues across both Season 1 and 2 of Ghost, and not just from his enemies like Kane, but those close to him. And so where I mentioned at the beginning how life is like a game of chess, in Season 3, Tariq won't want to waste a move. He's gonna have to keep his friends close, but enemies closer. But a fatal mistake which he's already made, in my opinion, is trusting Effie. Just like Ghost said, sometimes the people you trust the most can turn on you without no warning.
I don't know why he trusted Effie from the get. Effie already fucked him over before. And, like, I mean, we all know he's not aware, but, Effie did the whole Lauren shit. Effie's been meeting up behind his back with Kane and then trying to act like, oh, I'm not gonna have to work with Kane, am I? Like, yo, fuck Effie.
And that was a lesson from Ghost, a lesson which he was once taught by Effie before. So with him telling Effie she's the only one he can trust, is he just setting himself up to get banned again? He also knows he can never trust Monet or any of the Tejadas, especially.
I don't know about that. He might be able to trust Monet, but the other Tejadas, nah, definitely not. Diana Drew stole his drugs. Kane is Kane. Lorenzo, come on, who trusts Lorenzo? What? He just killed Zeke.
After the stunt Diana pulled, and he definitely won't be trusting Kane. But Tariq doesn't have the distraction of a double homicide charge or looking after Yasmin in Season 3, and that's going to be key. Although he does have a small problem of Blanca Rodriguez, because we all know in Power, once you get rid of one problem, another one appears. And what else does Ghost have in store?
But, like, that makes me wonder, like, if Blanca's gonna be coming after him and sees Tariq in that grainy footage, is she not gonna see Monet going up to Mecca's penthouse? Y'all let me know in the comment section. How the fuck do that work? How do security? If there's any like nighttime security guards and one of them niggas who operate the cams, nigga, let me know in the comment section. How did that shit run?
Tariq may have burned the letter from his father, but his spirit lives on, and no doubt he's going to be making more moves from beyond his letter from his father, but his spirit lives on, and no doubt he's going to be making more moves from beyond his grave. But will this further fuel Tariq to prove his father wrong? Or will he always remain one move behind? Drop all your thoughts down below on all things Tariq St. Patrick for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Alright, y'all. Y'all already know. Go sub to Movie About That nigga is like the god of making power videos, snowfall videos, BMF videos. I mean, like, Mark Dark is like that nigga. He that nigga too. He top dog too. It's like them two niggas, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, go sub the Movie About Mark Dark. I mean, y'all know I always shout the niggas out. Go sub to everybody. If you enjoyed the video, like, sub. I will catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh, Yizzle. Oh, Yizzle. Oh, pimp, Yizzle.